Brad Sugars is today's business hero of the day. And for you guys who don't know, I am Jabril from JabrilGoro.com. And Brad is, he knows his story is no different than, any other successful person that made it. But he knows he's Brad Sugars and he's a pretty successful guy. And for you guys who don't know him, he is actually the gentleman that built Action Coach. Uh, and his company, he started out from basically nothing. And now he's ranked by Entrepreneurs Magazine's 16th fastest growing franchise in the world and 53rd of the top 500. And he's done this in just 12 years. And his story, like I said, it's not unique, but it is special and inspiring. And he says, if you want to achieve something great, you have to think big and take action. Think big and take action, and have just a big vision. And he said, it doesn't matter if you're young or old when you start. He started his first business at 15, and he says Colonel Sanders, started his business at 65. Used his $105 from Social Security to start his business. And Brad started working as a kid. Well, he didn't start working. His dad said he was going to be a businessman when he was younger because at Christmas time, what he did is he sold his Christmas gifts to his brothers, which is probably got him in a little bit of trouble. But his dad said he's going to be a businessman. And after the next Christmas, he wised up and he actually let his brothers borrow his toys. He would rent them to him because that way he got money and he would get his toys back. And he said, some people see it as a sin, some people don't. But he said he's virtually, unemployable. And he found this out when he was like 15 years old, working part time. And he realized that thinking, for himself and, outshining his boss would not be, the best thing. And, he says it's been a long road. Since 15 years old, but and he's had tons of different businesses and all shapes and sizes. And like I was saying, Brad's owned all types of businesses, all sizes, and he's got a degree in accounting. He's made lots of money, and he's lost lots of money. And invested lots of money. And he's traveled the globe several times over. Teaching hundreds of thousands of people, business and, consulting. And, he's wrote several books and, he's built businesses worldwide. And, he says he has, amazing relationships with his family and colleagues. But I'll go back to, his whole process, how it all began. When he was 15, he employed his friends to deliver papers. And, that made him a couple dollars. And since then, his businesses have become, a little bit more sophisticated, but, they're still based on the same principle, finding something, that people want to buy and selling it to them and making sure, you charge a good price, but you give a good service for it. And, by the time he graduated from university, he had 27 different jobs. I won't go into all the different jobs, but I mean everything from a gardener to a radio announcer, to a disc jockey. Um, and what that taught him was that very few people ever really give anything but their best. He just really emphasizes, one one of the things, other people may see as a sin, but now he sees as a virtue is he is unemployable. As soon as he left university, he got a job, selling and investing, every dollar that he earned in training himself. And that means, he bought every, self-help book, courses on money, sales, business, you name it, he did a course in it. And by the time he was 21, he was managing 4 retail stores and a photocopy management contract, earning him, a salary of about $60,000 a year. And when he told his mom he was going to quit that to go work for himself, she almost had a heart attack. And being young and naive, it was, and basically no money. He said that was one of the best things, for him, because he had a lot of great ideas on how to create sales and how to market and how to, lead a team of people. And and by the way, like the retail stores that he managed, first one, they the four retail stores I was just talking about, they increased profit by 39% in just the 9 months he worked there. And he went on to do another company which he actually partnered with no money down, but he said he's going to increase sales, and he did by 93%. And he sold that as partnership there. And basically after that he went on to partner up with a very, very well-known guy that most of you guys all know, Robert Kiyosaki. Because at the time, Brad was running another business, his pizza manufacturing business, when he met Robert. And basically, because what Robert did, he only did consulting part-time, and he consulted for one gentleman at the time who ran an international training company. And the gentleman at the time, it was Robert Kiyosaki. And what Robert told him was that he wanted him to come and train his seminar, and be a promoter in the art of marketing. And little did he know, he didn't know what was in store for him. And so what ended up happening is that he started training 30 seminar promoters in Hawaii, which meant he was about to go into the presenting business. Seminars in Hong Kong, New Zealand, in Melbourne, Australia, and that meant he had to find someone to run his pizza business, back home to create an international operation. And so Robert, Kiyosaki, asked him to conduct the training sessions at his business school for entrepreneurs in Hawaii, later that year. And that was in like 94. And the business had about 350 business owners from around the world and 11 trainers, mostly, in their 40s or 50s, that were listening to him, when he was quite young. And that was, pretty heady stuff, at the time. And it meant he would have to put, 100% concentration into it. And he, because he wanted to complete this assignment successfully, and because this is his name on the line. And there was only one thing he had to do, and that was find a business partner who could run the business. And he did that, and he's continued on presenting seminars and consulting and basically generating cash flow. And once that was in place, um, he then proceeded to present literally hundreds of seminars all over Australia, New Zealand, Asia, and the United States. And in just 12 short years, you know, he was able to grow a business at such a pace that now, Brad, I mean, he has offices all over the world: Australia, New Zealand, America, England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, Malaysia, Singapore, China, the list goes on. Canada, Mexico, the Philippines, and his head office is actually out in Australia. And he's had his fair share of challenges, along the way, but he he knows, as long as you stay focused and you find something that you're passionate about, sky's the limit. And this is my business hero of the day, Brad Sugars. And check him out at actioncoach.com. I will post some links to where you can find him. And that's it. This is Jabril from JabrilAgora.com, and go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of these business heroes of the days, and you don't miss the exclusive interviews I do with a lot of the premier business and all types of people around the world. So make it a great day and dream big.